Be sure to listen, like, share, and subscribe for all the latest episodes, news, and updates. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at fistfights.friedricepodcast or at H8L.muay thai. On Twitter, follow us at H8L_Fight Talk.
I want this chance to show you that your garden karate is so much nonsense. And that's quite easy to do. I know Kung Fu.
Show me. All right, thank you for tuning in. This is House of Eight Limbs presents Fist Fights and Fried Rice. This is episode number 8, going into the art of bullshit though. I am your host Taz, and joined with me this evening, I have from parts unknown, Deku is here.
Yo, what's up?
The human encyclopedia, the connoisseur of martial arts, the Rain Man of martial arts, Justice Magnificent.
What's up, people?
A man that needs no introduction and whom we are happy to have on the show today, my better half, the other side of the coin, Mr. Laos.
Hey, hello, everyone.
My hetero life mate, my partner in crime, my spirit animal, Mr. UTBABYA.
But it is.
And we have a special guest with us tonight. A man who does need an introduction. The king of the throat-piercing spin kick, the human porcupine, the human juggernaut, the man, the myth, the gym legend, Mustang 2020.
What's going on?
Yo, did you call him the human porcupine?
I did.
You did.
I did. But we're happy to have you, man. Today's topic, bullshit martial arts and their fake-ass masters. Deku, would you be so kind as to let us know what are we eating and drinking tonight?
Man, like I say, every show, you can never get tired of that. Okay, so what we are eating today is a little catering company. They have food trucks and make pop-ups events around Charlotte and the surrounding areas. K&J's Kitchen. They specialize in Caribbean food. My boy Kerry Harris, he runs it. He's the owner. And when we used to work together, I was like, bro, you can cook really good and you get your own business. He just started up last year, and man, the Caribbean food is delicious. Jerk, roti, doubles from Trinidad, swordfish, anything you can name it. He gets it and he cook it, and it is oh so good, oh so delicious, man, oh so delicious. It's up there with perfectionism. Again, I still don't know how to spell that word, but I just made a decision. I'm just gonna let you guys spell it how the way you want to spell it, because I have came up with nothing. Again, they're on Instagram and Facebook, K&J's Kitchen, if you want some good Caribbean food.
And Deku, as always, I appreciate you bringing us the local eateries or the local food spots. Once again, we're trying to give a shout out to the local businesses around town. So, gentlemen, man, we're talking bullshito. I know you guys got some experience dealing with some fake ass shit.
I've been fortunate enough to go to gyms that were legit ever since I started, right? So,
okay. Well, you know what? Okay. Well, I can see what's going to happen here. You might as well just go ahead and mute yourself because you're boring as fuck. All right, moving on to the next person. I mean, look, he over here wasting good airtime. How you going to contribute? Man, shit, you knew what the topic was. You couldn't think of one instance when you've dealt with a McDojo or a fake-ass master?
Believe shit works that doesn't work.
I completely disagree. I am 100% sure that Jay has been to a gym where the teachers teaches bullshit. Hey, so
Michael Jordan
is the discussion who is a fake ass coach, or is the discussion is a fake ass gym?
You know what? Let's go fake ass martial arts, fake ass gym, fake ass coaches.
Yeah, throw it all in there, like like a big pot of gumbo, Just throw it all in
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna name any gyms specifically, but I've been to a few gyms around Charlotte when I got done with my last fight, and I was trying to get back into the ring.
Mustang, hit mute real quick.
I wouldn't say that the martial art itself was trash, but I would say that some of these instructors really believe that these martial arts that they're practicing is like the best thing out there, and that could beat anybody out there with it. So some guys are just delusional. So I wouldn't say that's a fake ass martial art or a fake ass teacher. It's just some of these guys are just really delusional about their skill set.
That's fair, and I believe that. I think that's probably one of the best ways to put it. I was going to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the show because some of the martial arts that we're going to mention, I'll be the first one to admit, I haven't trained in a lot of these styles that we're going to talk about. I have never cross-trained in some of these styles that we're going to talk about, but I have seen plenty of practitioners of these styles take many a ass whooping trying to demonstrate or teach or even try to represent the utter nonsense that they've been paying good money to learn. I was going to put a disclaimer, and then I realized, I don't give a shit. Fuck your feelings.
Yeah. I don't even know why you use even we put a disclaimer.
Because I'm a nice guy, and I thought about this. And Laos could tell you, out of the two of us, I'm the guy that will politely tell you maybe the stuff that you're learning or you're doing isn't meant for you. The Laos approach is to tell you that your shit is fucking fake or you just can't fight.
I wouldn't say it's fake. I would say you are going to fucking die.
See, there you go.
I feel like we're doing a service to the martial arts community.
Lobo, since you're finally on, we're talking bullshit martial arts, fake-ass masters, fake-ass gyms, and fake-ass coaches. Got any experience?
I've got experience with all those things, man.
We're all ears, man. We are all ears.
Like, most of the gyms I went to before I found you guys were all fake. I went to a fake Muay Thai gym. I went to a fake Krav Maga gym, which surprised me.
Jesus. How do you fake Muay Thai?
Are there sashes in Muay Thai? Chinese sayings in Muay Thai?
Chinese sayings?
Oh, boy. So, UTBABYA, what about yourself? Any fake-ass martial arts that you studied? Fake-ass instructors or fake-ass gyms?
I found a ninjutsu club. It was a martial arts club, but they were like, oh, we do these styles, and then we also do, like, ninjutsu. I saw that, and I was like, well, I don't know, but this is in the middle of Iowa. It's two dudes who clearly are not athletes at all. I'll show him the technique called Hand of God. That sounds magnificent. Please show me that technique. At that point, I was like, well, this is fantastic. I want to spar with these guys. Unfortunately, I didn't want to spar when I asked him to, but fun little evening.
I mean, you should be thankful to UTBABYA. I mean, they were ninjas. You would have never saw them. They would have thrown a smoke bomb and they would have disappeared into the darkness. You had no chance.
Yeah.
You had no chance against their Hand of God. Anything that has Hand of God in it.
I would think it'd be very difficult for someone to get sucked into some type of bullshit martial art. Like,
that you don't understand, man. These techniques are too lethal for the cage, man.
Bro, man. I just...
Justice, what about yourself, sir? Bullshit martial arts, bullshit fake-ass masters, and their fucking fake-ass styles. I know you got some experience in that.
Man, let me tell you. So, little small town, Greenwood, South Carolina. Little small gym on a bypass. I go in there. Said they did jiu-jitsu, but it was labeled American Combat Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, it's supposed to be like for the street. But there was a guy in there, and he was trying to teach like BJJ concepts almost. Pretty much, he was like, yeah, I'm a black belt, American Combat Jiu-Jitsu. That means I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's like, so yeah, what do you know? Where did you learn from? Here's the crazy part. that guy who was training in the gym, he was just like from some karate school who just got some kind of online thing with the American Combat Jiu-Jitsu. It's crazy. You know, you got those guys that get those stiff jiu-jitsu black belts, and then they think, well, okay, well, I can do the BJJ on the ground and teach ground fighting. And I'm like, you can't do that. That's not how that works.
It is not. That is a surefire way to get fucked up. Laos, what about yourself, boss? Fake ass martial arts, fake ass instructors, fake ass gyms.
You know, I've actually been lucky to not like experience fake ass martial arts because I've chosen which gyms I've gone into. You know, I've been pretty. Now, mind you, I've only done boxing and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, so I mean, you'll find out pretty quickly who is legit and who's not.
But with that being said, gentlemen, I want to say thank you for letting me know your different experiences. I'm going to take a quick 2-second break. When we come back, we're going to get right into bullshit martial arts. Bullshito, the way of bullshit martial arts. I didn't realize how much fake shit there was out there. I didn't realize how many people just created their own styles. I didn't realize how many people would just award themselves different, degree black belts in particular styles. And I had no idea it was that easy for people to con other motherfuckers out of their money. And I think out of everything,
super easy.
I didn't, bro, real talk, I had no idea so many people would shell out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for bullshit, either for a paper fucking certificate that means nothing or a colored belt that they order off of Amazon. This shit blew my fucking mind. And I don't know if maybe I was just naive to it or just maybe the fact that I just never really paid a whole lot of attention to it because I was too busy off doing real shit. But these last handful of days, my eyes have just been opened to a whole lot of bullshit though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bruce Lee did it.
I was waiting on that. Let's go.
You know what? Fuck it. So clearly we have a group of individuals that are all looking at this practically the same way. When it comes to myth outweighing the man, it's hard. It's hard to not look past any further than Bruce Lee.
Okay, so let's start off with. All right, let's put it into context, right? All right, so first of all, you have Hollywood, and you have what is exciting to the general person who is martially inept, right? So they don't know what the fuck that they're looking at, and all that they want to see is flash, high kicks, flying this. They want the sound effects. They want all this excitement, and that's what sells, right? Like there are interviews where Bruce Lee said, basically, hey, listen, like in a real fight, like certain shit isn't practical. Like I can do all these flashy movements, but if it comes down to a real combat situation, then these are the movements that are actually effective, and these are the movements that I am likely to do in a real contest, right? Like Bruce Lee was the first one that we know about that had that conceptualized, hey, we're going to take elements from any martial art. Like if it works, then you take this and you incorporate it in your game based off of your body type, based off of what you're able to do, and based off of what works, right? So when you talk about concepts, then he was spot on, right? Like he in that regard, he was the father of MMA.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna have to just humbly disagree with you in regards to Bruce Lee being the father of mixed martial arts. To say that he was the first one to really take the best from this or take the best from that and then conceptualize and put it all together, that's absolute horseshit. And the reason why I say that, this goes back all the way to the early days of karate back in Okinawa, before it was even called karate. Back when they were taking the Chinese hand techniques, the different foot techniques of the different islands of Okinawa, masters would come together and they would trade techniques, they would trade forms. At one time, there was no different style. It was nothing more than you throw a kick this way, I throw a kick that way. At the end of the day, a punch is a punch, a kick is a kick. To say that, okay, well, Bruce Lee took these, that is a myth. There were mixed martial art events long before the term was even coined, mixed martial arts.
That's fair. That's fair. So let me amend it. I would say the first person that most people know about that had that thought process. However, to your point, like pancreas has been an Olympic sport since the ancient Greeks, right?
Exactly.
And basically pancreas, like so. There's wrestling, there's chokeholds, there's joint manipulations. Like the only thing you couldn't do, I don't think there were any rules. I think you just couldn't eye gouge.
You fought a guy to the death.
Ancient pancration was no rules.
So fair point.
I'm not doubting the concepts at all, because without those concepts, you don't have fighting, period. Everyone borrows from everyone. My issue when it comes to Bruce Lee is honestly all the flag waving. All the, Bruce Lee did this, he invented that, he was the best at this, he created that, he did this, he did that. He didn't do shit without somebody else. No one does. No one gets to the top without someone else.
Is that his fault?
No. I'm not blaming him for that. No. I do not blame him for that. I blame all the crotch sniffing flag wavers that are just like, oh man, Bruce Lee's the greatest thing to ever live. And honestly, I think what Bruce Lee really stood for got lost in the shuffle. Like I said it before, that is a prime example of what happens when the myth outweighs the man.
Yeah.
Correct. And that comes strictly from Hollywood.
Yes.
You don't hear any other stories about Bruce Lee outside of people that were celebrities and in Hollywood. Period. I mean, facts is facts. If you want to know, the first and foremost leader on Jeet Kune Do, period, was Dan Inosanto. Even if Bruce was alive. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, I don't give a damn. He specifically stated that these were concepts. Jeet Kune Do is not a style. Show me a Jeet Kune Do kick. It's not a Jeet Kune Do kick. Either it comes from Savard or it comes from Wing Chun. Jeet Kune Do, period, the way of the intercepting fist is a technique in Wing Chun. This is not revolutionary. It just was glamorized by Hollywood. Again, karate masters before it was glamorized. Same thing before this mysterious meeting they had with Jigoro, the creator of judo. There was no
Kano.
Yeah, him. There was no name to karate. Like, it was just Okinawa. They were taking stuff from, like Taz said, they was taking hand-to-hand combat from China. This is not a new concept. This is well known amongst like martial artists. But again, if it wasn't for Hollywood, this wouldn't come about.
So here's a concept. Bruce Lee sucks, and he is not revered at all in the Asian community. When it comes to fighting, even when it comes to movies, nobody fucking talks about Bruce Lee.
Me personally, I don't really care if Jeet Kune Do is a style. I don't care if it's a concept. Honestly, I don't care at all. What I care most about in terms of Bruce Lee is how people have such a hard time differentiating the shit he could do in movies versus the shit he can do in real life. And the best example that I can give of that would be Vic Moore, the man that fought them all. For those who don't know, Vic Moore was a multiple-time karate champion, and he was asked by Bruce Lee to partake in an experiment to where Bruce Lee was going to throw a punch at Vic Moore's chest. He wanted to prove that his straight blast, or that in fact he was so fast that he could tap Vic Moore on the chest long before Vic Moore could block it. Now, there's video floating around where it shows Bruce throw this punch, and Vic Moore doesn't stop it. And that's the only part of the clip that they ever show. Now, here's the controversy in that. Vic Moore, or I shouldn't say Vic Moore, Bruce Lee told Vic Moore, he was going to hit him directly in the chest. Bruce Lee throws the punch. Punches. He throws the punch to his chest. Vic Moore blocks it. Bruce throws another straight blast to the chest. Vic Moore blocks it. Because now he's been embarrassed in front of this fucking crowd in California, Bruce Lee then, instead of throwing a punch to his chest, throws a punch to his face. He doesn't hit him, but as Vic Moore goes to block, he's expecting a shot to his chest and not his face. And that's the piece of little spliced film that they put up on, the fucking internet and all the Bruce Lee highlights to prove that, dude was so fast and no one could ever stop his punches and stop his shit. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because, for one, Vic Moore's a black dude. So for us to be even allowed during this time, back in the late 60s, to not only be a part of these world, karate championships, but to be showcased on national television and to be included in these demonstrations is a big fucking deal. And it's not only just a big deal for Vic Moore, but it's also a big deal for Bruce Lee. Racial tensions were high, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go into the whole fucking racial divide. You guys can look all that shit up if you want. But the fact that this guy, a traditional karate stylist, a Shuri Ryu karate stylist, as a matter of fact, who was told by Bruce, as Bruce told this entire crowd, that karate techniques will not work because they are too slow and they are too rigid. Now, we can go back and forth in the argument in regards to it's not the style, it's the fighter, yada, yada, yada. We can do that all day. The fact still remains. This dude threw 2 punches claiming that a karate-style block would not work, and Vic Moore disproved it twice. And to me, that's just one of the many fucking examples of how people have taken just little snippets of what Bruce has done and completely blew them up into this other shit. And I think it's great that, now let me clear the air on that. I think it's great that Bruce Lee broke down barriers and he helped break the fucking racial divide, especially during the 60s or whatnot. That's cool, and I'm glad he did that. And I'm glad that he could pave the way for a lot of other martial artists or martial art actors, and I think that is great that he inspired millions of people to get into martial arts. I really do. But I also think fucking carnival tricks like that also gave birth to the McDojo.
Karate is what really brought in the McDojo.
I'm not going to say he's the father of bullshit arts, but you can't tell me that there was nobody in the world before Bruce Lee doing finger push-ups, when that has been a practice of the Shaolin monks for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that the intercepting fist is a technique that Bruce Lee perfected. No, it's not.
Especially when he learned a modified version of Wing Chun that he didn't learn a true version of Wing Chun. So of course, he didn't perfect it. Like, come on.
Like, it trips me out that people are like, "Oh man, I love Bruce Lee and I love the Ip Man movies." First off, his last name is Yip with a Y. It trips me out that they take the Y off, and I don't know if that was like some legal copyright shit. I don't know, but it annoys me to no end hearing people say Ip Man or IP Man. God, I hate that shit. But
who the fuck says IP Man?
You'd be surprised.
I've heard people say it.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
A
lot of people. But
I say it all the time.
But
and Bruce isn't even his real name. He doesn't even claim his real name.
Exactly.
He took a fucking American name while he was over here.
Lee Jun Fan.
Little carnival tricks like that, in my opinion, is what helped inspire a lot of the McDojos and a lot of the fake ass shit, a lot of the snake oil salesman shit. My whole thing is, that's cool. You call it the intercepting fist and Jeet Kune Do, or all these concepts, bro. Your foundation is Wing Chun. Yes, you learned it from Master Yip, but let us not sleep on the fact that Wing Chun was invented by a woman. And that's something that always gets swept under the rug when cats talk about Bruce Lee and they talk about the Wing Chun shit. Somehow revisionist history people always forget, oh yeah, this art was invented by a woman who didn't want to marry a motherfucker, so she went out to the goddamn woods and created a form and a system on how to, rapid slap a motherfucker to get out of marriage. That always gets swept under the rug when cats start talking about Bruce Lee. Do I think he motivated or he inspired millions of people? Absolutely. Is he a cultural icon? Absolutely. Is Enter the Dragon one of the greatest martial arts movies of all time? You goddamn right. Primarily because of Jim Kelly. R.I.P. He inspired millions, and I'm not going to take anything away from him for that. But, like I said before, nobody gets to the top without somebody else. If you didn't have the, Dan Inosanto by his side to learn the different, weapon aspects and so forth, would he have been as charismatic on film in terms of his movements and his striking? Absolutely not. Now, I don't necessarily consider him a McDojo. I don't necessarily consider him a fake-ass instructor or a fake-ass teacher. I don't put him in that category at all. But a lot of the motherfuckers that take his style from underneath him, pure garbage, pure shit. And you can see the divide in the different factions of JKD.
I realized there were different factions.
Oh man, there's many.
Where? Well, all of them was a different split. You got Bruce Lee's original students who was taught that Jun Fan Gung Fu,
I think that was Ted Wong,
who
wasn't it?
again, yep, Ted Wong. You got Richard Bustillo. You know those guys. Yeah. So yeah, it's a, and then you got the side with Burt Richardson and who was a karate guy, Dr. Jerry Poteet. Just a couple. It's like, man, it's so many, and then it's like the civil war between everybody on is JKD a style? If it's not a style, is it just concepts? And again, my opinion, Dan Inosanto doesn't teach it as a style. He teaches the concepts based off Filipino martial arts and others that he learned along the way. So if you're telling me again, what's a Jeet Kune Do kick, what's a Jeet Kune Do punch, all of it derived from Wing Chun or Savate or other things that he learned. Period. There's nothing original. Taught Jeet Kune Do. And then I've been to schools affiliated with Ted Wong and different people like that. And I see the difference, and it's just crazy, man, how they just exploiting that and just use it and people are just live and die by it every day.
Yeah, if I could just put my
Yeah,
two
go ahead.
cents in there. I don't know much about Jeet Kune Do because, well, I don't practice women's martial arts. From what I do know, I would say that I go by my first statement and say it's probably because I just don't keep up with a very feminine style of martial arts.
All right, so let me ask you guys this then, since we're on the subject. Like I said, we're talking about Bullshido, way of the fake martial arts. What are your top 10s? Is there some validity in these arts that we're going to name off? Is it legit shit, or is it just legitimately shit? You know what? Fuck it, I'm going to go first. Shit, I don't care anymore. My top 10 list of absolute bullshit martial arts. Oh boy, I'm going to start off with American Ryukyu Kempo Karate, founded by George Dillman. This is one of those fucking no-touch chi fucking pressure point knockout bullshit. Fucking touch you on the shoulder and your fucking dick don't work. That kind of shit. I've been, now for those of you who don't know, I've been an avid martial arts fan my entire life, and I used to see this motherfucker in Black Belt magazine all the time, spewing this fucking nonsense about how he could fucking touch you on your forehead and you lose feeling in your fucking arm, or he'd touch you on your shoulder and your fucking dick don't work, or he could knock you out by fucking staring at you. This cocksucker can go to hell. And the rest of these motherfuckers that do this no-touch Quan Chi spiritual qigong vibrational bullshit through their fucking fingertips that'll supposedly kill you in your fucking steps. I enjoy watching you motherfuckers get laid to waste on the internet. That's my number one. Under that, there is Dan Te. Now, many of you will not recognize that name of that particular martial art unless you grew up in the 70s and 80s. A one Count Dante, born John Timothy Keehan. Fuck you. His style of Dante of the fictional Black Dragon Society used to be in Black Belt magazines all the time. All the time with these fucking.
Why you're still on my list?
With these stupid ads of the most dangerous fighting style in the world, the most feared man in the world. The only thing this cocksucker is famous for was basically starting a rivalry between two rival dojos where a fucking kid was killed. Fuck you. And I hope you and anyone part of your lineage gets struck by lightning. Number 3, Ki. I can't make this shit up. That's actually the name of it. The noise you make when you expel air in martial arts, a fucker decided to make a style off of it. But not only did he make a style of it, the creator is a man named Ryukan Yanagi. And this son of a bitch made Yanagi Ryukin Daito Ryu Aikido. And he is another no-touch chi motherfucker who claims that he can just look at you and shout and stop your fucking heart. Go out online, type in KIAI knockouts, and you get to watch him get completely fucking destroyed by someone that kickboxes. And it is a thing to behold. But it is funny watching him try to shout at someone while getting fucked up. Yellow Bamboo. Fuck these hippies to death. These fucking spiritual radiant motherfuckers. Fuck them. That's all I got. I can't even give them any more than that. Cuck. Oh, I'm sorry. I said cuck. Kuk Sulwan. Yeah. Fuck this martial art. It's a Korean martial art where supposedly it encompasses all of the best techniques of every Korean martial art. They are notable for fuck nothing, except for one thing. They are notable for having a one Gary Big Daddy Goodridge claim them in an early UFC because he needed to put down a martial art to be able to compete in one of the early UFCs. So he literally walked into a Kuksul Wan dojo and said he'll wear their logo if they allow him to use their name. That is the only thing they are fucking known for. And once this motherfucker started killing and destroying people, he quickly stopped going by this Kuksul Wan bullshit. Next, Shaolin Kempo Karate. God damn it.
Oh, God.
Made by a one Frederick J. Filari. Now, again, this goes back to the days of fucking Black Belt Magazine, where this guy who basically appointed himself a 15th Dan by way of self-promotion created this bullshit style of karate that supposedly takes all the dangerous or the most deadliest techniques of Shaolin Kung Fu and Kempo Karate, and he merged them all together in what he described as an invincible martial art. They are notable for nothing. No one has ever tried to rep this shit and actually go fight, and if you do, get your money back, because you'll probably die. Shaolin Do. I'm not even making this shit up. This is created by a dude named Sin Quan. This is my favorite thing. He mastered over 900 forms from over 100 different fighting styles. Fuck you.
I'd like for someone to actually name out 100 different martial arts.
Right? You know how many katas are in fucking, just even Kyokushin, there's a shit ton of katas. I couldn't imagine Taekwondo or Hapkido or some other shit, let alone Kung Fu. You'd be there for the rest of your fucking life.
It's possible. I once knew a guy that could do 125 hit combo and never repeat the same strike.
I'm going to leave that at that, sir. My next one, Sansu Kung Fu. I couldn't find too much about this shit other than the fact that it was created by some fucking dude named Jimmy Ha Woo. And the only thing notable about that is that it was featured in UFC 2 by a fighter by the name of Thaddeus Luster, who was basically beaten into absolute oblivion.
I've seen it. It's a brutal fight.
My next one, every single form of American ninjutsu. From your Robert Buseys to your Stephen K. Hayes, fuck you all. Fuck every one of you.
What about Grandmaster Dukes?
Oh, he's next on my list. Dukes fucking Ryu. As much as I enjoy and love Bloodsport as a movie, I have a hard time fathoming that this dude had any input in that script at all. It just blows my mind. Everything about this dude is fraudulent. So Dukes Ryu, if you're listening, fuck you. I hope you get AIDS.
Wow.
And my last one. And oh my God. I genuinely watched these videos and I was left completely flabbergasted. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this shit right. I don't even care if I do it a disservice. Beli Samuroid. Russian slapping, pretty much. Basically a bunch of old motherfuckers running around using weird whip hand slaps to tear paper in half.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It is the worst shit I have ever seen. This is worse than even the most redundant and novice style of slapboxing I've ever seen. It is just a bunch of old-ass Russians and fat kids running around slapping. They might as well just name this fucking art Slap-A-Wearer. This art is absolute shit. And I implore anyone, if you're fucking bored and you just want to just laugh at old people and fat kids, look up Russian slap fighting and you will fucking laugh. I had intentions on putting so many different martial arts on this list, and then I came across this bullshit and had to tear my entire fucking list apart and start over. Well, that was my 10 of the shittiest fucking martial arts on the fucking planet. I implore anyone to try to beat that list.
You have half my list, so.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
You got at least good 3 of them on half.
So let's do honorable. How about we do honorable mentions since he covered a lot of stuff. Right?
That's fair.
Systema.
Fair enough.
Systema. Like any Systema demonstration I've ever seen in my entire life has made me want to throw up in my mouth. Anything that is no touch, like you've lost. Like no touch. The only form of no touch combat that exists is with a gun, or back in the day maybe an arrow or something like that, where you don't physically have to touch your opponent. Like it's when you shot them, right?
That's fair.
So that's the no touch concept. Yeah. Systema, Aikido, Tai Chi, Ki was on my list, but it's like it's always the same thing. You have some idiot just lunging, telegraphing the shit. I'm talking about like you saw that punch coming from last week. Yeah, it can happen if the motherfucker doesn't know anything. Yeah, Aikido not fucking working. Systema, like good luck with that shit. I'm not hating on someone who does Aikido for the fun of Aikido or Systema for the fun of doing Systema. I just hope they realize, look, man, you get into it with a trained fighter of any sort, and we're not talking about like years and years and years. We're talking about like I've had 6 months of Muay Thai and like 3 months of Jiu-Jitsu, and you get your ass. So that's my takeaway on those. Oh, and I have to give Krav Maga an honorable mention as well. Like it's like again. Like they got some shit that will work on some people, but yeah, trained fighter. Like I'm not just gonna stand there and let you kick me in the nuts 20 times and throat punch me and then eye gouge me and all this other shit. The shit doesn't work like this. It's not like in the movies, right? And that's real shit. Like most times you hit a motherfucker, they don't just go to sleep. You see these martial arts movies and you have people who they're fighting 20 people and they get 20 fucking knockout shots. Really?
I was gonna say I agree with that. Now I can't really, because I haven't practiced any of those martial arts. Like Aikido, I make fun of it a lot because I see Steven Seagal pulling off some bullshit stuff. So it's hilarious to watch someone try to do those moves. But I have seen firsthand a demonstration between a Muay Thai class versus a Systema class, and Systema class was actually very experienced. These guys had supposedly been doing it for years, and some of them, I believe, were like master level. I don't know what the fuck they're called, and they were going up against a Muay Thai class that, a Systema class. It didn't work out too well for them. It was a very good demonstration for Muay Thai.
These arts, there's no such thing as sparring.
You hit the nail on the head, because I have a feeling that if we continue with this list of honorary mentions, majority of these arts that we name off, there's no actual sparring. And let me clear the air. Once again, like I said in the beginning, I have not trained in any of these martial arts that we're naming off. I don't know shit about Tai Chi other than the fact that it promotes good health and harmony and flexibility for the elderly and all that shit. That's what it needs to. That's where it needs to stay. Do that shit in the park. Find your fucking inner center. Do whatever. Go to your fucking happy place. I will never shit on anyone that is using Tai Chi or Qigong or any of this shit for the health benefits. Let me just clear that now. I will never shit on you for that. Where I will shit on you is if you're taking the fucking David Carradine at home fucking Tai Chi, distance learning DVD bullshit, and then you go to try to fight someone, and then you wonder why you got fucked up. That's on you. That right there, I don't blame on the art. I don't blame that on the art at all. I blame that solely on the fucking person doing it. But if your art is quote unquote designed for combat, designed for true self-defense, and your concepts are bullshit, or your concepts rely solely upon a willing opponent willing to roll the fuck over your back. Let me ask you a question, man. You've been awfully quiet. What other honorable mentions you got? I know you're holding back over there.
I am.
I know.
Sport Ninjutsu. That was out in the country in China or whatever. And it was in like a ring. Have all types of weapons, but they're rubber. Sword, rubber
that
sword.
Sounds fucking amazing.
I'd actually sign up for that.
And they're like literally throwing stuff at each other, and and they really kind of beat the shit out of each other. But it's the first time that it's an honorable mention. It's the first time I ever seen that or whatever, and it just looks just like straight. It's like straight Hershey squirts. Like this is terrible. Wow, this is just straight horse shit.
So, Justice, what about yourself, sir? What are some honorable mentions, sir?
Casey, whatever systems. The Batman Begins, where you rubbing your forehead back and forth with your elbows up.
Yeah,
Think you're gonna block some punches.
But yeah, I mean, I think we covered this list pretty well.
Well, what about you, Lobo? Anything you wanted to add on there?
I have two. One's a bit of a wild card, so I'm going to say women's self-defense.
Oh,
Wow.
We're gonna get shut down. We're gonna get shut down.
Right.
Lobo, you about to get me too.
Man, let's go down this rabbit hole. Man.
Yeah, man. Look, we done already shit on Bruce Lee. We might as well go ahead and go down this hole.
I mean, he already said it, so he might as well keep going. No, don't change it.
Yeah, you done already said it now. Don't change it.
YouTube self-defense.
Let's go back to this women's self-defense shit. No, go back.
Yo, that's legit. Yo, women's self-defense is legit. Okay. House of 8 Limbs supports women's self-defense.
Go.
We have taught women's self-defense. Okay, it is.
When you show somebody how to defend a choke,
Did you even
choke
call
themselves.
Hold up. Before that, did you even call it women's self-defense when you did it? Like, I can't recall, because I remember there were some clear differences when H8L did it.
Big difference.
Yeah.
We did not use the term women's self-defense at all.
Only thing I called it was free advertisement, so we just kind of went with the flow.
Yeah, I called it anything you learned before coming to the gym was trash.
I don't hate women. There's always some giant jack dude in the room, and he always says, "Oh, if you pinch somebody's arm, or you like in the, they're gonna go down immediately."
And how many classes did you attend, sir?
I've seen it on YouTube.
But what about the foot stomp that they taught to Usman?
What else about women's self-defense is trash and fake?
Women.
We're gonna get shut down.
Cut it down.
This is the last
Hey guys, this has been really fun. This has been enjoyable, guys.
It was real. It was a good run. We lasted longer than we was thinking it was gonna last.
I just wanted to say, from the women's point of view, that women's self-defense is awesome. I can't believe that you guys don't believe in women's self-defense. I learned that if a man grabs my ponytail, that I am to stomp on their foot, yell rape, poke him in the eye, and then try to run. That's what I learned.
Okay.
And that shit is totally legit. I was watching Laguna Beach once, and this dude named I think Martin or some shit. I don't know. He was some fucking bro dude or whatever. And he was trying to grab so and so, and she was oh no, and pulled his ears and kicked him in the dick, and she ran, and she lived to tell the fucking tale. So women's self-defense, Lobo, you can go fuck yourself, okay? Because you don't know shit, okay? When me and Karen and Amanda get together, oh my god, we're practically walking the streets looking for motherfuckers not wearing their masks, so we can be hey, wear your fucking mask. I wear because I care. And if a dude is hey bitch, what's your phone number? And I'm don't call me a fucking bitch. I'm and then you know what I do?
Planning on doing this
I kick him in the fucking dick. That's what the fuck I do, because you know what? Women self-defense. Give a fuck. Fuck you, Lobo. Fucking Bruce Lee fan. Fucking... you fucking know shit. The fuck are you laughing for, Deku, you fucking Usman worshiper? Fucking... kick him in the fucking dick, too.
So stay tuned for the new name of the new show, because this one's most definitely gonna get shut down.
I'm speaking for all the women out there, all the single ladies and shit.
Lobo's views do not represent the views of House of 8 Limbs. And we just want to be clear in saying there's no such thing as women's self-defense or martial arts. It is all martial arts for everybody.
I actually don't. I don't actually appreciate the fact that you guys are like gender qualifying us. Because, in all honesty, why can't we just call it martial arts? Why do we have to emphasize women's martial arts? That's fucking bullshit, okay? Like, you guys don't go to, like, your Muay Thai class and say, hey, this is fucking dude bro Muay Thai. This is swinging dick time. Like, you guys don't do that. This is fucking bullshit. Me and Karen are gonna blog about this shit.
Who am I gonna say that?
Yeah.
Let me get your
I didn't
whole
catch your
fucking
name,
shot
sweetie.
down.
What's your name?
Yeah, what's your name?
You motherfuckers weren't even listening.
Bro.
You, bro, it's actually Ashley, and like, I'm gonna be like a guest on this show off and on, because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Kick
you should
right
really be a guest
in
on this more.
the dick. Fuck you, Lobo.
Based upon the different things that we've talked about today, the different martial arts, the different systems, and so forth, from your opinion, do you find value at all in these arts that we named off, or are people just wasting their fucking time? In this wonderful segment I like to refer to as shit's legit, or is it legitimately shit?
Learn assist self-defense into fighting.
Canada, you like? JC Penney, Okinawa, no need rope, hold up pants.
We've listed off a number of different martial arts. So obviously, I think it's pretty clear that the no-touch martial arts are legitimately shit. These no-touch martial arts can eat 7 fat dicks. Get the fuck out of here. Absolutely worthless. And telling them that they will be effective in a fight is a piece of shit and should jump off a fucking cliff.
Well, I appreciate that, UTBABYA. No, actually, I couldn't agree with you more, man. All the no-touch shit, absolute, legitimately shit. Mr. Mustang, I gotta ask, with all the Ki arts and the Sistema and the fucking the other shit that we named off, in your own opinion, sir, would you be so kind as to let us know why you feel these are the reasons why motherfuckers are getting separated from fucking consciousness?
You want to do the man dance? First dance is yours. I'm gonna whip you silly, and I'm gonna fuck you stupid.
One thought he was invincible to fly. So? Both wrong.
Since you come from a military background, you have a foundation in fighting, you have a history of competition.
I'll try and be brief as I can, right? So, I think we've all unanimously discovered that anything that says no touch is just complete and total bullshit, right? And if you decide that you're going to try any type of no touch self-defense aside from a gun or an arrow or some type of long-range projectile, then you're going to get fucked up, right? So you're a fucking idiot. Look, if your martial art doesn't incorporate sparring, period, like if your system, if whatever, even if you're doing fucking Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, like, and I know it's damn near impossible, I would think it should be impossible to find one of those arts where they don't incorporate sparring, rolling, whatever. But if you're one of those schools where you just do katas or you just do techniques, or you spar like once a month, or whatever the case may be, you're going to get your ass on the fight, period, right? The average aggressive street fighter is probably going to be able to fuck you up and separate you from fucking consciousness, because you get better at fighting by actually you develop your reflexes, your skills, your timing, your creativity, your reaction. It becomes muscle memory by you doing it over and over and over.
Well, let me ask you guys this. I appreciate that, Mustang. Let me ask you guys this. What are your thoughts on Chinese fighter Xu Shidong? Do you respect what he's doing in terms of smacking up these fake martial arts masters, or do you think he should be more tactful? I'm just curious what you guys' thoughts are on him.
Yeah, he kind of, like, I only saw a few, like, clips, and I figured I kind of got the gist of it, and he looked like a little bit of an asshole, I didn't really like his attitude, but someone needs to stand up and yell, "Hey, it's 2020. We know what works and what doesn't."
See, I was kind of against his attitude too when I first heard about Shushidong. I was kind of like, man, this guy's being a fucking dick to these fucking old masters, and he's really shitting on tradition, and he's really shitting on, you know, a lot of Chinese arts. I figured out why he's like this. Basically, it started off with him just answering a challenge. Someone made some claims about my fucking no-touch chi or my fucking kung fu is better than yours kind of shit, and I'm willing to prove it. And a lot of people didn't step up because, you know, you're dealing with someone who was older, or people have to understand, in a lot of Asian cultures, you don't shit on your elders. If they're making bullshit claims, you just kind of laugh it off and you let it go. You don't really want to make your elders lose face. From a combat sports standpoint, that shit doesn't really matter. You start popping off at the mouth about how your fucking iron body chi shit will walk you through whatever. At some point, you're going to get someone that's going to answer that call. And Shushidong is that individual. You know, someone made a claim. He showed up. He beat the dog shit out of them. And he received a whole lot of hate and a whole lot of flack for it. When he first started doing it, he wasn't such an asshole and he wasn't so much of a dickhead. But the more he would answer these challenges and the more he would beat these masters and these so-called fighters, what ended up happening is it started to kind of ruin his life in a way. Because China has a different kind of social structure than we have here in the States, obviously.
Right.
You know, they got that whole good merit shit. When you do good shit, you're rewarded with good shit. When you do bad shit, these demerits go against your name, they go against your credit, they go against your profile, they go against everything. Enough demerits and you can't even ride a fucking city bus. So imagine here's a guy who just beat the fuck out of Kwang Lang Chi or whatever the fuck, and that individual is, you know, some fucking world-renowned Qigong master, and you beat his ass on national television and just kick the dog fuck out of him and then embarrass him. That lowers your social standings. His social standings have become so low to the point where he can't be shown on television without having his face painted.
Wow.
What he's doing, in my opinion, isn't necessarily wrong per se. Like, I'm not against him for exposing the phonies. Honestly, I think that if you're talking reckless, there's consequences to that shit. As we all know, you pop off at their mouth, and you catch the right fucker on the right day, and they whoop your ass. Now, props to these old motherfuckers for showing up and actually, you know, getting into the ring or getting in the cage with this guy and then he beats the shit out of you. You know, props to them for, you know, for not pussing out of their own challenge. Now, with that being said, do I think he should be a dick to him in the ring or the cage, or do I think he should disrespect them after the fact? No, you've already kicked the fuck out this dude. You've already smacked him up. You proved your point. Get your check. Move the fuck on. That's my outlook on it. But my thing is, if you really want to test yourself, you really want to prove to the world that you're this badass motherfucker that you say you are, stop beating up senior citizens and fight some motherfuckers your own age or your own size. To me, it kind of goes back to last week's discussion with the whole David LeDuc shit. I'm not impressed that you're beating up people that have a clear disadvantage towards you. Why don't you shit on or embarrass the 25-year-old Kung Fu master that might actually cross-train in some other shit? That's my whole standpoint. It's easy to call out a 67 or a 58-year-old man and be like, yeah, your fucking Tai Chi is weak, and you issued a challenge. I'm going to come up here and smack the fuck out of you. All these other people are just being nice to you and playing along. Everyone knows they're being nice and playing along. You can't look at a video of a guy twirling his fucking finger in a circle and seeing a grown man spin around and fall down. You clearly know he's just fucking around and playing along. It's for entertainment purposes. It's to get people to laugh, or it's to get people to show interest in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and that makes me wonder, like, when you said, like, how his life's kind of, like, shitting out, and he's got all these, like, demerits and whatever, like, I mean, is it because he beat these guys, or because he, like, was a fucking asshole about it?
Right? A little bit of both.
I mean,
I believe it's both.
Yeah.
It's basically both.
He certainly should have, like, said, you know, here, give me your best student and I'll fight them, or, you know, something like that.
If my 62-year-old grandma walks up to me and she's like, I want to go outside and fight, like, I gain nothing from hitting her with sweet chin fucking music and sending her ass across the street. Like I gain nothing from this. And to me, Shu Shidong gains nothing by beating up a bunch of old people. I get it. You want to prove that Chinese martial arts are strong. And I respect that. But let's go ahead and, call a spade. When you're beating up these guys, you're not proving that Chinese martial arts are strong. You're proving that MMA is effective against non-violent martial arts. Deku, Justice, what are your thoughts on Shu Shidong?
The one thing that I do agree with him about is exposing these martial arts that the be all end all, mine is the best and whatnot, but what you're really after is pretty much money and pretty much taking advantage of people and knowing like your shit is really not that effective. But I do agree, however, you prove that their shit is pretty much horse shit.
Right.
Let's see you in a ring. Take a legit kickboxing fight. Take a legit MMA fight.
Right.
See, now that you got your little clout or whatever, or show the world what you're really made of.
But my thing on top of that, because you actually hit a great fucking point. My thing is, don't worry about the call-outs from the fucking Tai Chi Qigong masters. You can't tell me that you're not getting call-outs from Sanshao world champions or other MMA fighters in or based or around China or Hong Kong. You can't tell me none of these motherfuckers are reaching out to you and be like, hey man, that's cool that you beat up grandpa. Why don't you try beating up his grandson? His grandson who's a Kunlun fighting championship winner, or, this guy who's won multiple fucking Sanshao bouts. Why don't you go smack up Kung Lee?
Go from there.
Yeah, and that's my whole point.
He doesn't do that.
He doesn't. Like if you're gonna fight the masters, that's cool. Fight the proteges too. Fight the guys that will genuinely be able to put up a fight back if you want to prove your point. Now, so let me ask you guys this. Do you look at that as a knock against the art itself or the master portraying it? Because I'm not convinced that every kung fu motherfucker is soft. I'm not convinced that every kung fu dude just gets taken to the ground and fucking mollywopped. I'm just not convinced of it.
All right, so what
there
I
goes
think
Justice.
is it's not more or less about the art. I think it's more or less that old against young, and the old not being receptive to the younger generation and what they're liking and what they're trying to see. And I think that's what it boiled down to. That's why the guy has such a large following, because a lot of the kids are not into Tai Chi, Bagua, whatever the other stuff, crazy stuff is. They're into BJJ, Muay Thai, Sanshao, whatever else they can think of that they see on a regular basis, which what they see on TV, UFC, mixed martial arts, etc. They're not seeing this other stuff, not as much. It's not as as popular as it was when we were growing up in the 80s and the 90s, or even in the 70s and things like that, when you had Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris and people like that, and you had this whole stigma around these martial arts and these old martial arts masters.
I don't think he should be going after the old master. I think if he's going to do it, he should be going against the younger generation of kung fu guys. I don't feel like beating up a dude in his 70s really proves anything.
I agree. Well, guys, I appreciate you taking the time to talk about Shu Shidong. Mustang has now volunteered his services. Would you be so kind to provide us with tonight's synopsis of our craptacular karate flick, 1993's Shootfighter, Fight to the Death.
And now, our feature presentation.
In the contact arts, it's a new phenomenon that is a competition more and more deadly than any you have ever. What kind of fight? Shootfighter, fight to the death. Your body. Let the competition begin. Where men fight to or fighting. Fighter. There are no. Starring martial arts of double impact, Bloods, Martin, William Karate, Marian Dabo from the Daylights, and in time with karate champion Michael Bernardo, Edward Albert of Getting, and dean of the world's greatest, most electrifying masters of the martial arts. The trap is. You're up. We should get that. It is a deadly game where survival ends on one rule: kill or be killed. I don't wait for the final, but be advised, gentlemen. Exploding, spinning martial action like nothing ever before brought to. Welcome to the final. It's the ultimate hand-to-hand combat to the death. Finish him. Shootfighter, fight to death.
So Shootfighter. Wow. Fucking Double Dragon ripoff. What came out first? That movie or Double Dragon? I think Double Dragon was out before. Because all I could fucking think was Billy and Jimmy. You have the guy, the brunette with the long hair. You have the blonde dude. Like, you know, like one seems to be like the bad boy, Jimmy, the blonde, and the good guy, Billy, the fucking brunette. Like, how fucking... Like, they ripped it off from the video game. A video game ripped it off from them. I turned my computer off, so I can't fucking Google when Double Dragon came out. But I think Double Dragon was. Either way, Double Dragon came out in 1987. So yeah, it was a Billy and Jimmy fucking ripoff, right? As far as the choreography of the movie, when his boy got killed by the big guy with the fucked up hand, apparently, like they're like stop. The ref's like stop, and he's like no, and he tells him. And the entire fucking crowd, fighters and all, just sit there and watch. Like, how fucking unrealistic is that? Like, you mean to tell me this dude's about to fucking get killed? The ref has already tried to call it out. Nobody's gonna rush him? Like, there's like 100 motherfuckers there. Everybody's just gonna sit there and watch the motherfucker rip his throat out. Okay, that's really realistic, right? So that's bullshit. Billy, after meeting this dude, after meeting Bolo or Sensei, whatever the fuck, Sifu, they called him Sifu. After meeting Sifu, he was his student after talking to him for like 10 seconds. You remember that? Never knew him. Next thing you know, he goes down. He's like, "Oh, my students, plural." Okay, like that's all it takes, right? One, love how how Jimmy fucking turned evil as shit after like 5 minutes just because people owed him money. I'm like, okay, you're Mr. Perfect Dojo owner. Got the beautiful girl and all this other stuff. And now you have, you owe this guy money, and he literally ruining your fucking life, but he's only coming around at the most inopportune fucking times and not really doing anything. But, like, toward the end, when Nick comes down there to save Ruben's life and shit, then Nick fucking decides to fight, Ruben decides to fight him with murderous intent, like, on a whim. Like, you're fucking best friends, and all of a sudden you're in there trying to kill your fucking best friend.
Well, for like 20...
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. I'm like, bro,
he was also in debt, and he was about to win that fucking fight.
$100,000 in 1993.
Exactly.
Bro.
Okay, so that's like $200,000 now.
More than that.
Whatever the fuck it was, like you just. I mean, I get you're scared, all this other stuff. Like, bitch, I came to save you, and you're sitting here trying to kill me. First of all, he was getting his ass whooped in that fight, right?
He was coming back. Some of you did not appreciate the martial arts history that was in this movie. You had Johnny from the Karate Kid, Mr. Kreese from the Karate Kid, Bolo Young from just about every meaningful martial art movie on the planet. You have Michael Bernardo, who, I'll be honest with you, I only remember him from WMAC Masters. You have a number of dudes from WMAC Masters.
All these guys look familiar.
Yeah, you got dudes that played Scorpion and Sub-Zero and a bunch of the movies. Like there is a who's who of martial arts royalty in this movie. Now, if that isn't enough to impress any of you, and I know Deku's not impressed, and I know he is just waiting to shit on this movie, but it has one of the most infamous characters in real life in this movie. In the very beginning scene, when Bolo Young is fighting the little chubby dude who's doing all the weird poses and he's got the Aikido pants on, that is the infamous Joe Sun. Name may not sound familiar to some of you. He was the trainer of Chemo from the early UFC days, and he's also serving a life sentence in prison in real life for not only rape, but for also murdering and killing his cellmate. That badass went on to have a wonderful MMA career of being 0-4 and has the luxury of being the only fighter in the world who has a loss on their record by way of Terror.
Terror?
Terror.
I thought you were going to say away a dick punch.
Terroe. Terror. He was doing an event. I want to say it was like Extreme Pancration or some shit like that. And he got hit. He saw blood. He fell down. He refused to get off the stool and refused to continue to fight and was visibly fucking terrified of what he had gotten into. So on his record, if you were to Wikipedia Joe Son, Joeson, and look at his MMA record and you look at his losses, one will say, lost by terror.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you have summed up our
That is
sentiments
astonishing.
better than, with that tell you summed up this movie better than any of us ever could.
So you find no redeeming qualities in this movie. In early
I find
MMA
that, I find
cage.
that Bolo Young was about what, like 40-something, 45 when that movie came out? He was in fucking amazing shape.
Oh, dude, his fucking chest is insane. Going back and looking at it now, because, again, as I've said on this show numerous times, used to work in a video store, and this was another one of those tapes that used to get rented all the time. Shootfighter and Shootfighter 2. And one of the reasons why they were so popular is because they came out literally at the beginning of NHB. Before it was turned into MMA, this movie was almost considered ahead of its time. Because you had cats like, Jim Arventis trying to spread the word of pancration. And then you had cats like Bart Vale, who basically coined the phrase shoot fighting and shoot fighter. Even though those terms had already been used in Japan several years before him, this fuckhead went on ahead and trademarked it, and then created the International Shoot Fighting Federation or some fucking stupid shit. Ken Shamrock, when he first got into UFC, was listed and labeled as a shoot fighter. The funny thing is that shit is actually coming back. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, Jay, but for those of you who are fans of wrestling and who are fans of Japanese style Pusuro, or also known as shoot wrestling, WWE has just started doing shoot style matches where they basically ripped off Josh Barnett's Bloodsport from Game Changer Wrestling, where you basically take the ropes off of the ring, you dim the lights, you put on a different canvas on the ring so it kind of looks dirty and grungy. And instead of guys wearing like their traditional fucking wrestling panties and fucking boots, they're out there in jeans and wife beaters, and they're supposedly putting on these predetermined MMA style matches, utilizing less wrestling moves, but trying to make it look more NHB and no holds barred. But I would like to think movies like Shoot Fighter and Shoot Fighter 2 had a big hand in shit like that. So Deku, I have to ask, sir, what were your thoughts on this 1993 gem, Shoot Fighter?
God, this movie is so fucking bad. Oh man, what a start! Fight scenes were terrible. The only good fight scene was the last fight scene with Sifu's actually beating the shit out of the boss. I guess I don't know. It's just retarded. And to you guys probably got touched on this. They have the who's who of supposedly people.
I mean, but Bolo Young was still like he was the best thing about the movie, and the movie sucked.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my God, I believe what I'm hearing right now. UTBABYA, your thoughts on the movie, sir?
Okay, so this movie, immediately I went, oh, it's Karate Kid 5 because the actors. And then I realized that everyone else was in it too. Yeah, this was a veritable who's who of the 1980s and 1990s films, which is a shame. So bad.
Right, I'm not the only one.
I'll be honest. I am really shocked right now.
When they did the montage of, I'm just going to call him Johnny because that's who he is. I don't care what anyone says. Blonde kid from Karate Kid is Johnny, and Johnny is doing his training.
He's roaming the streets, beating up cholos.
Well, so the montage is supposed to make it seem like Ponytail is doing everything right. Right, so he's doing katas with Shingo and playing basketball with a kid.
Right, like what the fuck?
Hang on. We are going to skip that whole basketball scene because I felt hard. Well, hang on. I didn't realize that there weren't going to be any words during this scene.
Oh my God!
I'm watching this shit. I'm like, oh, okay, he's just going to give this kid back his ball, and then this shit goes on for like 6 or 7 minutes. Oh. And I thought the fucking kid was like special needs. And I realized, he's not special needs. You guys just ran up on a random kid. I didn't understand what the fuck Ponytail was supposed to learn from dude just throwing the basketball over his head.
We see him training like this, doing katas with Shingo, borderline accosting a child. And then what we actually see Johnny doing is training like he's an MMA fighter.
But did anybody else find it odd that fucking Johnny only fought Mexicans?
I noticed that.
I mean,
I thought that was kind of odd. Like, he only beat up...
I mean, he was in Mexico.
Not during the training sequence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean when he went up to
the
essays?
game, like the
he just rolls up on some essays and just beats the fuck out of
them. Same group of essays. Like,
it beat him up twice.
They were like, yo, every time you see me, it's on. Like that's the old school. Every time you see me, you gotta fight me type stuff.
Justice, what are your thoughts on Shoot Fighter?
Okay, so the movie for me, it was like, again, it was a blast from the past.
Definitely.
And looking at, when I was younger, great movie. Looking back on it, it was a good movie. It started off well for me. Wow. It did until it got to the Mexico fighting scenes. When they got to Mexico and they started fighting, that's where it kind of lost me at, because it didn't remind me of Double Dragon, but I did think about the old arcade game Pit Fighter, and immediately I was like, yeah, I remember why I kind of lost interest from the beginning. But it did have a cast pretty much everybody from WMSC Ward, MSC Masters, Johnny from the Karate Kid, because I don't remember his name, but he's Johnny. Jimmy. And Mike Bernardo. Hakeem Austin got choked out with his do-rag. He didn't have no way.
It's funny that you guys keep bringing up the Hakeem thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he the goddamn champion?
Exactly. How you get choked out with your own do-rag?
But not only that, this motherfucker was the champion and never defended his title. I mean, he just wins a briefcase of money, loses a fight backstage where nobody sees it, and then you never see him again.
Right.
I mean, he won $100,000.
Yeah, great writing, right? like I said, he was better in Mortal Kombat like when he fought Liu Kang.
Inferior movie. Now, as I had to explain to him, so movies like these don't always necessarily age well. The reason why I picked this movie was because we were talking about fake and made-up martial arts. It gets very difficult to find anything more fake than shoot fighting. Especially when you break down exactly what shoot fighting is. Preconceived outcomes with fighting in the middle. When I was a kid, or I should say when I was younger, I watched this movie, and I remember enjoying the fuck out of it. I thought the fight scenes were entertaining back then. The idea of you get to the finals and you get to fight with fucking weapons and shit like that. I thought that shit was entertaining as fuck. Now, as I've gotten...
like a live video game.
Yeah, exactly. Now that I've gotten older and I've experienced shit like MMA and full contact fighting and shit like that, I realize how dumb the premise is.
We all in agreement that this movie was just straight doo-doo dog shit, man.
Are we? Is that where we're at?
Yes. I can't believe y'all are like giving this shit a chance. This is the second worst movie I've ever seen in my life, Taz. Like, for real. I'm sorry. It was boring as shit.
Wow. I'll be honest with you guys. I did not expect this level of hate.
Improve your skills, son. Harden your body. Become the number one man. Do not ever let anyone beat you.
All right. So, of course, this is going to feature Bolo Young because he was one of the highlights of the film. Yeah. But in that ending fight, you gotta highlight him jumping up in the air and knee smashing the sensei from Karate Kid. Gotta highlight it.
That was pretty fucking
dope. That was pretty dope.
And he did that in something similar in Enter the Dragon, I think.
He did in Enter the Dragon. He did it in Double Impact,
Bloodsport,
Bloodsport, and this movie.
Yeah, so that's kind of his thing. So yeah.
All right, well, so let me ask you guys this then, since we're going to get off this subject of you guys ruining my childhood. With this craptacular karate flick, I'm going to give this movie a rating. 1 being absolute dog shit. 5 being the absolute soul-obliterating kick to the nuts of pure entertainment of your life. I personally would give this movie a 3.
1.
You know what, Taz? I'm going to agree with you.
Good man.
I'm going to agree with you. It was a 3. It was entertaining. I got to see a bunch of people that I hadn't seen in a long time.
Facts.
At the end, we got to see Bolo pay homage to. I think this is actually Bruce Lee did originate. Was that jumping stomp?
He did
in Enter the Dragon.
All right, Deku.
This movie is like a fucking 1.3 shit.
Brutal.
It was straight boo balls, Hershey squirts, doodle smells worse, doodle sickles, all the above. Like, it's just terrible. It's another every week. It is a waste of 1 hour and 30 minutes of my life.
I liked it. Fuck you guys. Mustang.
1.25 because of the Bruce Lee homage.
Goddamn. Justice.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Good man. Good man.
You guys are being too nice.
You guys are shitting on my
I mean,
childhood.
it's still better than watching the Usman fight.
Facts.
You know.
Would you be so kind as to take us down memory lane?
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
All right. This week we're gonna go back and watch Extreme Battlecade, one of the first popular MMA events. You had Igor Zinoviev. I'm sure everybody remember him getting slammed on his head by Frank Shamrock and never coming back. But he had a fight with Steve Faulkner, since we were talking about, what works and what doesn't work. Well, Steve Faulkner did Wing Chun, and he got smashed. Check out that fight, because it did not last long at all. He got slammed pretty hard. It was the best thing I've seen.
Well, gentlemen, that concludes Bullshido, the way of the bullshit martial arts. Fake ass styles, fake ass arts, fake ass masters, fake ass gyms. But once again, I appreciate it, guys. You guys go ahead and get the fuck out of here. Be sure to listen, like, share, and subscribe for all the latest episodes, news, and updates. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at fistfights.friedricepodcast or at H8L.muay thai. On Twitter, follow us at H8L_Fight Talk.